Hello class. In this video, we are going to write an application named multiplication table that prompts the user for an integer value, for example, 8. Then display the product of every integer from 1 through 10 when multiplied by the entered value. For example, the first 3 lines of the table might read 1 times 8 is 8, 2 times 8 is 16, 3 times 8 is 4, and so on. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up Visual Studio. We're creating a new project. This is going to be multiplication table. Let's get rid of our starter code. We're going to be using system.console. We're going to have a class called multiplication table. Open and close curly brace. This needs to be static system console. Let's go ahead and create our main method, static void main. Open and close curly brace. And we're going to go ahead and start setting a few things up. For instance, our variables. We're going to need an entry from our user. That's going to be an integer. So we're going to have an integer for entry. We're going to have a constant integer, and we're going to call this low. That's going to equal 0. We're going to have a constant integer for high, and not guy, but high, and that's going to equal 10. So we're setting our bounds up, getting a constant variable for those bounds. And what we need to do is ask our user to enter in a number. So let's do a write statement. We're going to ask our user to enter a number between, let's do 0 and 1. We're going to use our low and our high. So we're asking our user to enter between a 0 and a 10. Okay, let's see now. Actually, we need to change that to a 1 and 10, don't we? If they enter 0, that's not going to work. Okay, so once they enter the number, that needs to be put into the entry. So entry is going to equal convert dot to int 32, whatever is in the read line. So now we have our entry, and what we have to do is use a for loop that goes through every number between 1 and 10 and multiplies our entry number by it. So let's do a for loop. And in this for loop, we're going to have just a kind of a throwaway integer x, and that's going to equal the low number. So we're starting at 1. And as long as x is less than or equal to, because we do want to include 10, our high number. If we did not want to include 10, we take away the equal. So we're wanting to include 10, we put that in there. So x starts at 1. As long as it's less than or equal to 10, we're going to keep going, and then we're going to increase x each time we go through this for loop. Let's create a body for our for loop using the curly braces. Why is high H-I-G-H? Oh, because I didn't put it here. Well, if it's a constant variable, my mistake, it needs to be all caps, just for readability. You could have it lowercase, it doesn't matter, but readability definitely helps. Okay, so now we have all of our for loop header underway. And what we have to do now is we have to multiply our entry by x. So what we're going to do is we're going to have what's called a product, and that's going to, because I don't have that as a variable, int product. So our product now is going to equal our x multiplied by our entry. And then we're going to do a write line. We're going to let our user know and we're going to say, let's see, we have to multiply. So we're going to have a placeholder for 0, comma. We're going to give 2 spaces. We're going to do an X placeholder for 1, comma, give 3. We're going to do an equal sign. We're going to do a placeholder for 2, which is going to be our product, and then 3. Close that up. We're going to do a comma, and we're going to do X. We're going to do entry, and then we're going to do product. So this should work. So let's go ahead and run it and see if it does. Nothing. Why is it not prompting me? There it goes. Enter a number between 1 and 10. Already I messed up. I need to put a colon and a space. Much better. Let's do 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So this is right. My format's off a little bit. Let me change that format. Get rid of the space. All right, so our spacing is a little bit weird. Let me just take that part out. Let me just take that part out. Put a space and a space. There we go. 4. That's much better. Okay, so that's basically how you do it. There are formatting techniques, but for some reason my mind is not grasping, not grasping, but my mind is not geared towards it right at this moment. There are formatting things that you could do. I do want to give that a try. Let's see if we can fix that. So we're going to do our placeholder 0. We're going to do a comma, space 2. We're going to come over here to our first placeholder, do a comma. I had it as 3, right? 3. Let's see if this works. That spacing's wrong. So let's do 2 there. It looks a little bit better. Let's do a 1 there. All right, I like that much better. Okay, so this is how you would do something like that. We're just using a for loop, and as we go through the for loop, we're increasing the number that we're multiplying by the static entry number that our user has given us. All right, let me know if you have any questions over this exercise, over the spacing. If you know of how to kind of explain this, please do so in the comments. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.